Hi, it's a lipstick gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to do a new makeup release video. I always like to look at things with a critical eye. I tend to purchase impulsively. I'll just be honest. I'm like, oh, that looks exciting. And then I buy it and I didn't think it through. Do I already have something like this? Or do I need something like this? Or is this even where I'm at right now in my makeup aesthetic? Is this the sort of thing that I would tend to wear, or even at my age? Is it good for my skin? Is it gonna work for the type of, the era that I'm in? All right, so that's where I wanna go through and talk about all of the new makeup releases. I didn't wanna talk about everything, or with my chatty inner Kathy, we'd be here forever. But I actually saved a list of things that either made me go like, wait, what? Or like, excuse me? Who asked for this? So that's what we're talking about today. If you'll notice, it's like makeup I might buy. Anything that ever catches my attention as I'm scrolling through Instagram, I save it here. And then I think it's important every now and again to go through and to look at it and to evaluate it thoughtfully. So the first thing that came up is the new mini eyeshadow palette, the Starlit palette from Natasha Denona. As somebody with fair skin, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this soft pink with a slightly cool lean would be perfect for my skin tone, for the type of makeup I'm craving right now. But unless you wear True Match in shade 0.5, because that's the foundation I'm wearing today, I'm not sure who this is for. I feel like this can be leaving people out. And I don't believe in leaving people out. That's why I always appreciate companies that do multiple options. Here's this beautiful product, and let's make sure that anybody who wants to use it can use it. So although this is really pretty, I don't know that this would work on a wide range of people, but I feel like for someone like me, I'm kind of like, ooh, it's so pretty. But then I look at these colors and I'm like, I've got these. I could build this Natasha Denona mini, and maybe that's what I should do with Sydney Grace singles. I almost said shingles, but I could go through my singles and be like, create. And I think maybe that's what I'll do. This is available on the 4th, which I think is gonna be tomorrow at Ulta, probably also available at Sephora and on Natasha's website. I don't know, but to me, I think this is the sort of thing that would work well for me, but I don't know how many other people in varied skin tones this would work for, because it does lean a little bit light, which could not be flattering on all skin tones. Here is something that I've been intrigued by, and I have been intrigued by this brand so many times, but I haven't followed through, and I'm curious as to why that is. So if you have similar experience, let me know. This is Juvia's Place. They have a new cream bronzer, and the colors look really pretty. I'm a little worried. The lightest one, which should probably be mine, looks like it has a little bit of yellow to it. And I feel like the second lightest one has a little bit of orange to it. So I would want to swatch them in Ulta and see if it's just the image here in the photo, the promo photo, or whether they do really pull a little bit to the warm side. If I can make an orange leaning bronzer work for me, but the minute I put on a yellow leaning bronzer, I look like I have jaundice or malaria. I look ill. So that's not good, but these look really interesting. They're supposed to mimic the warm embrace of the sun while kind of bringing a little bit of that creamy luminosity to the skin. They're $18. They have a shimmering pearl in there, so I guess they're not completely matte. That is also interesting to me. I feel like the older I get, the more I wear something, unless it's a really well-formulated matte, the more my skin looks dry and textured. I'm 48 and a half. I know I bring up my age all the time, and I'm sorry if you're like, we know how old you are, stop mentioning it. But the reason I bring that up is because it is something that I'm constantly thinking about. How will this product or will this formulation sit on my skin? I feel like the cream aspect of this would be good. I do like that there's a little bit of pearl, but it can't be too much. I can't have this be like my bronzer, but in highlight. That's not what I'm looking for. So this is something that I would probably like want to swatch in store and wait until I'm like, do I need it? Chances are I probably don't, but it does catch my attention, and I was really intrigued by their liquid highlighters that were released earlier this summer, and I haven't purchased either of them. Here's one that when I saw, I was like, ooh. So this is a kind of like an unveiling of the YSL holiday collection for this year. And the packaging, stunning. It looks so stunning. And of course we're dealing with YSL prices. I'm assuming like the lip balm is going to be $45, as are the slimline mattes. I don't have any of that matte formula, that like kind of little square packaging. I've never tried that formula. I do love their YSL The Bold. I like their Pure Couture. I love their Rouge Volupté. Like there's a lot of stuff. Their Tatouage Couture. Like I've had so many different types of YSL lipsticks and they've all worked really well. I have not tried this one, so I don't know. So the part that is a little bit confusing to me is the cushion foundation. And it's because it looks like it's divided into 3 specific areas with 3 different tones. Okay, fine, but how in a cushion compact are they not gonna all end up like becoming one? Is it just a cool, like, look how pretty it is the first time you open it, and then the reality is, yeah, it doesn't stay that way? And how accurate are these colors? Are there going to be like 3 shades of foundation in this limited edition packaging? Or are there going to be, is there a full range? I don't know. I guess we'll find out later. I'm not a fan of things like the advent calendar. I feel like you're paying a lot of money for a luxury name, and they're all samples. No, thank you. Although the eyeshadow palette looks pretty, it's not calling to me. For me, it's the lip products, but I don't think I need any of this. I would love to know, are you pulled in by luxury products? Is this like early release of what they're releasing for holiday? Like, ooh, get you excited? Let me know in the comment section. But so far, this is like a, no. Another luxury release. This one is from Tom Ford. It's the Private Rose Garden. There were years where I wanted nothing but Tom Ford. I lusted after like the fragrance, after the lipsticks, especially after he came out with the boy lipsticks. I was just like, yes. I had a couple of Tom Ford lipsticks and they were great, but I don't know that they were everything I was hoping they would be for their very expensive $50 price tag at the time, like a long time ago, because everything's more expensive now. They're lovely. But I don't know that it's a better formula, in my opinion, than Charlotte Tilbury, and Charlotte Tilbury is $36. It's definitely, in my opinion, and I haven't tried one in a while, so maybe I need to try one to say for sure, not better than Lisa Eldridge, and Lisa Eldridge is $36. And that's the one where I can't stop every time she comes out with a new shade. I love the formula, I love the package, I love everything about it so much, and I wear it so frequently that if I'm spending luxury dollars on a lip product, you have to be better than Lisa Eldridge. And at this point, in my opinion, and for what my makeup aesthetic is and the sorts of formulas I prefer, I'm not going to be paying like way more for a Tom Ford if it's not nearly as good. Although the color looks really pretty, I'll tell you that. The kind of lip oil or lip gloss looks interesting, not enough to pull me in. But then I was looking at these eye quads. All right, so they have the one in Rose Tease, which looks like it's mostly mattes. And it kind of looks underwhelming. I don't need this for the $90 price point. What are they, $89? I don't know how much the quads are right now, but they used to be $80 and then there were more, and now I'm like, not for this. And then the second one, which looks like it's called Indolent Rose, has a shimmer in there, and it's still pretty, but it's, I don't know. The last time I had a quad from Tom Ford, it didn't blow my socks off. But I feel like this is a lot of dollars to spend if it's not exactly what you want. And these colors are, you know, maybe my rose eyeshadow moment is over and these aren't pulling me in. If you're interested in these, let me know. If you have a lot of Tom Ford quads, which are the ones that I need to think about. And since they've been reformulated, because I know several years back they were, are they worth it still? This next, okay. My initial thoughts when I first saw it was how the mighty have fallen. And I know that's terrible, but that's what I thought. And maybe this makes you super happy and that's fine. And I'll explain myself in just a minute, but it's the new Disney 100 and Charlotte Tilbury collaboration. And it looks like all of Charlotte's already released products are being released with Tinkerbell on the front and, you know, special Disney like exclusive packaging, but none of the products are new. So Magic Cream is still $100, but this time it's like spangled and got Disney on it. And the Beauty Light Wands are still $42 each, and there's no new shades. These are all existing shades, but they have Tinkerbell on the front. And it looks like they have 4 rose gold collector Tinkerbell pins, a new one dropping each week. First of all, I don't like the whole gimmicky, you know, new one dropping each week, so you have to come back and, you know, buy a certain amount. And I don't know. I feel like a Pavlov's dog. Every time they say free shipping if you reach a certain dollar amount, the pit is not going to be that much. And to get the free shipping, I'm going to add one more thing to my cart that I don't really need. If I want, just put it in a set and let me buy the set. And I know it's a marketing thing to get me to come back, but whatever. I'm also not an enamel pin kind of person, so that's okay. But when I saw this, I just thought about all the collabs Disney has done over the years. With so many different brands, like other large luxury brands. But I always really felt like Charlotte Tilbury was kind of holding on to their brand a little bit more carefully. And when I saw this, have I missed another collab that they've done? I remember they did a collab years back, a summer one with an artist, using their art on the front of like summer releases. And that to me was different because it was still very artistic and very intentional. And this just feels like getting in line, and Disney finally had time to deal with you and go, okay, let's do a collab. And the brand was like, let's not make anything new. Let's just make special containers for the stuff we already have. It's like nobody put a lot of time and effort into it. I don't know. Now, here's where I tell you, I love Disney. I do. I grew up in Southern California. We used to go to Disneyland, I don't know, 6-7 times a year. Love it. I have a really soft spot in my heart for Disney. But this sort of a collaboration, I was like, both of them, oh, how the mighty have fallen. This next one has me a little curious. Prada is releasing makeup and skincare. And it looks like they have eyeshadow palettes, lipsticks, a lip balm, a foundation, 33 colors. And then they have an augmented skin called the cream, the serum, and the cleanser. Okay. So I'm not the sort of person who's gonna spend like luxury prices for the skincare. I would really be curious to know whether there's fragrance in the skincare, because that's kind of like a big no-no for me. I don't want any fragrance in my skincare. I would rather smell the ingredients, even if they have like an interesting smell to them, and know that we're not putting anything in there that might irritate my skin. I feel like a lot of times, am I wrong? I feel like luxury brands put a lot of scents in things. And to me, it seems unnecessary. Prices are 45 euros for a lipstick, 80 euros for an eyeshadow, and 360 euros for a cream. But the lipsticks, well, you know me and a lipstick. I was like, ooh, a new luxury brand to try. And I don't know. I don't like that there's only 13 shades. They have 2 different finishes, a hyper matte and a soft matte. Okay, so a really matte formula and then a demi matte. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I'm intrigued. I'm probably not gonna buy a lipstick. I've been purchasing so much makeup recently. I told myself to take a breath, to take some time. I'm not officially putting myself on a no buy, but it really, really has to like reach out and grab me by the lapels. And I don't know that these 13 shades of lipstick are grabbing me by the lapels, especially for that price point, but I'm very much intrigued. Okay, here is something that did grab me by the lapels. And this is the new Stretch Fluid Foundation from Glossier. So I have always loved their stretch concealer. This is my second pot of it. I'm about to hit the bottom. Well, I can see so much light through there. I'm about to hit the bottom of this thing. This is one of my favorite things, especially in the summertime. I like the medium coverage. I like how it's kind to my under eyes. I love that. And when I found out they were making a foundation, I was like, yes, it's going to be $34. They're going to have 32 shades. They're going to have 7 shade categories and 5 undertone groups. They're also putting out 32 shades of their stretch concealer. Right now there are 12 shades. Now, I don't know. This kind of feels like I have a shade that works for me. And part of me is like, am I still going to be able to get this shade of concealer? Or I don't know. I don't know, because if I can't get this anymore and they've made these new and improved shades, I don't know if I'm happy about that, but I'm sure they're going to have, hey, if you were normally shade G12, this is your new shade. I hope they're going to do that and just have expanded around there to give people more opportunity to use this. And I like the fact that they're making a higher coverage based product, because I know their skin tint is basically like the lightest whisper kiss of like a little bit of tint. Are you wearing anything? And you're putting it on. Did I put something on? I never have been interested in their skin tint because I want just a little bit more coverage than that. And I feel like this new Stretch Fluid Foundation might be my new fave. So that one, yes, waiting. And by the way, if you're curious, it's coming to their website in August and will also be available at Sephora. It's already been released. I don't know what your feels are, but let me tell you what my thoughts are on the new Mothership 11 Sunlit Seduction. All right, so I have not made it a secret that I always thought that these huge Mothership palettes were a little bit overhyped. That I hadn't fallen in love with any of them. I did recently pick one up during a sale. I got the Utopian Dream, and it's in my everyday makeup drawer, and I have been using it, and I have been liking it, but I find that I kind of, just for ease of use and not having to deal with sparkle fallout, I use everything but the special bake shades. So when I saw this has a very similar rose kind of color story to it, and I'll tell you that if I didn't know this was new, I wouldn't know that it was new. If it wasn't like, we have this huge announcement, we have this new release. Okay, and here's where I'm showing my ignorance. I don't really know all of the palettes. The ones that stand out to me are like the Subversive and the Subliminal that have like the green and the blue. Utopian Dream had more of that kind of lavendery. Some of them just really stick in my mind. And this one, it looks very similar to other ones like Divine Rose. Is this kind of calling out Divine Rose a little bit? I feel like it's very similar to the previous one. Am I getting this wrong? I don't know. I know they really the brand really leans into its rose toned eyeshadows, probably because that's what people want. That's what's selling. But this was like $128. Yeah, I'm good. The one thing that was interesting to me is that Pat McGrath is at Ulta now. I think it's probably like already available at Ulta, but what's interesting is that they are not selling the Mothership palettes. I don't know. Okay, so the post I'm seeing here says it will include these items, like they have their eye quads, their mascaras, their liquid eyeliner, their permagel pencil liner, their blushes, some lipsticks, and some glosses. So it's like a limited portion of the range. And I don't know if that's because people are expecting more budget things at Ulta, and past a certain price point, the Mothership at $128, no one's gonna buy it. I don't know. Or whether Pat McGrath was trying to keep certain things available only at Sephora, but we'll let you have the rest of this part of the collection at Ulta. I'm really curious. So here's one that I'm gonna have to keep my eye out for because I'll probably pick this up. It's not expensive. It's from Tree Hut. They have a new fall collection, and they have both their body scrub as well as their foaming gel wash in new scents. They have pumpkin spice latte. They have boba milk tea. They have sweet cream, whipped shea butter, like their body butter. They also have an iced coffee flavor. And I'm like, whoa, 4 new scents. I love the exfoliating body scrub. I really do also like their foaming gel wash. I feel like it does a really good job of cleaning my skin without making it too dry. Some body washes just like strip all the nourishment from my skin. I like everything from this line. I'm really curious. I would want to kind of like crack it open and sniff and see which ones are really good, which appeal to me. And I might pick up one of those because these sorts of things, I go through these sorts of things all the time. Thrive Cosmetics has a new waterproof liquid eyeliner pen. I have somewhere around here one of their regular like pencil liners, which is good. It's not my favorite, but it's not bad. But when I saw this and they said the word waterproof, I was like, I'll be the judge of that. I don't know if I'm instantly picking it up. If I go back for another one of their liquid lash extensions, I have really been liking this mascara. I probably would throw in one of these eyeliners. I don't know that I have to have it right now. I will work through the couple that I have right now, but that kind of caught my attention. But I don't know that I'm willing to purchase it directly from Thrive. And again, this is stupid. I always do like, okay, what else do I want or could I use to get free shipping? When I'm like, just pay the $5 or $8 for the shipping and only get what you need. I don't know. I'm like the Pavlov's dog. You ring the free shipping bell and I'm salivating like, what else? But this is definitely interesting to me. I've been hearing good things about the Give Feelin' Cheeky Clean Amplifying Talc-Free Blush Duos. I like the duos. I feel like for me, it's hard to pick a color. I feel like the first one is a little too pink for my personal preference. The one in the middle might be too berry or too mauve and not be good for my skin tone. The one at the end of the first row could work for me, but I'm wondering, is it going to be too dark? All right, bottom of the second row, that first one is too tangerine. I know that is some people's like favorite, and I love a bright kind of peachy corally blush, but this one is reading a little bit more pumpkin to me. The one in the middle of the bottom would be like, that might be my shade, or the last one. And I would probably have to go into Sephora and swatch them. But I just did a video recently, I'll link it for you here, where I was ranking all of my new blush purchases for 2023. I purchased 22 blushes, not including, I guess 23 now with the new one I got from Sydney Grace. It's August. I don't need more blush, but I've heard good things about this. If you've tried it, what are your thoughts? All right, the one that I would not get, and maybe it's because, okay, it's the Givenchy. Now, this is their loose powder blush, and for me, it's the loose powder blush. Put all 4 of these colors in a pan, press it down, and then I can choose which one I want. I guess for me, I would be really worried that if I were to shake it up, because I have one of the Prisma Libre powders. I have one. It's got 4 colors in it. I like this powder. I'm actually wearing it today. So I have to tip a lot of powder out into the sifter and then mix it up to think that I'm always going to be getting the same color. Because if I just tip a little bit out, what if it's more green this time, or a little bit more blue, or a little bit more lavender? And this is kind of like a color correcting thing. I would be worried the same way about this blush, that if I tip a little bit out and I put some on, oh, I need a little bit more, and I tip it out and I don't get exactly the same shade. Maybe it would all work together, but I feel like I would be more likely to jump on this Givenchy 4-color if it wasn't loose powder, if it was pressed. And then it also wouldn't take, I know the container would be smaller than this, but then it wouldn't take up so much room because they are a little boxy. Like, you know, if you made it in a thin little compact, hello, made it weighty and beautiful and luxe, yes. Okay, so that's a no for me. Looks like Hourglass made new shades of their Veiled Translucent Setting Powder. They now have the shade Translucent Deep and Translucent Medium. So they've been using one shade for everybody. And when did that Veiled Translucent Setting Powder come out? 4 years ago? 5 years ago? We waited this long to make a shade for everybody? Okay. I love Hourglass. One of my favorite things ever is their ambient lighting powder. I have finished up my veil setting powder. I'm not going to repurchase it, but for me, it's because like, this is what I really want. This is what I really need. And I just can't believe it's taken this long to get there. People have been asking for years to make a more inclusive shade range, and Hourglass, I think we could have done better a long time ago. Here's one I'm actually really curious about. It is the Glazed Skin Sheer Finishing Powder from Melt Cosmetics. An all-natural, lightweight, buildable coverage that soft focus blurs pores, fine lines, wrinkles, and gives a radiant glow for a more youthful, fresh look skin. Can be used on top of foundation or worn alone. And it's $39, and it's supposed to balance oils and moisturize. That's a tall order, to balance oils and moisturize, to blur pores, to reduce the look of wrinkles, I was like, ooh, and it's radiant. Now, I would never, like a decade ago, ever have used a radiant powder as anything other than highlight. But I'll tell you, today I went over my entire face with a radiant powder. I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. I do feel like a radiant powder, if it's done right and it's not too much, can actually be just what the doctor ordered for someone like me who has, you know, larger pores and has, you know, like the texture in through here. I feel like it can soften the look of all of that, but it has to be the right type of radiance, because too much and it's highlight. Not enough and it's like, wait, what's going on? Or if the particles are wrong and it looks like you have little chunks of glitter on your face, but not everywhere, but just in certain spots, like randomly, that's not good. I don't know. This is really intriguing to me, and I would be very curious to swatch it in store, but I don't know that I have to have this. And I feel like this is probably not going to be good for everybody, but as somebody who is in midlife and is looking for a soft focused blurred look that's going to help with lines and texture and wrinkles, I was like, but if you deliver, yes. I don't know. This is interesting to me. I don't know that I'm rushing out to buy it, but I might put it in my loves list for the Sephora sale coming up this fall. So there's a new lipstick from Lawless. Here's what it's called. It's their Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Satin Cream Lipsticks. That's a big name. I'm never gonna remember that. So, but I'm looking at it. The color ranges are beautiful. I feel like there is probably a nude there for everyone. I feel like you have the really pale beigey nudes, you have some of the more rosewood nudes, you have more of the mauve nudes. I feel like they've got some really pretty stuff. And then they have that one bright bold red. I like the packaging component. It looks like in a really nice square packaging. I'm curious if it's magnetic. Really interesting, $28. I think that's actually a really good price. And I love a cream lipstick so much. I might actually put this in my loves list to like try one of these shades for the Sephora sale, but I don't have to know right now. And I feel like that's the difference. The minute I'm like, well, I don't know, I'll put it on a list. About 80% of the time, what's on my list doesn't get purchased. But this is actually really intriguing to me. If you have tried this, how do you like it? How does it stack up against other like high-end brands? This is not a luxury brand, but you know, those Sephora mid-tier price range brands. How is it compared to an Urban Decay lipstick? How is it compared to a Rare Beauty lipstick? How is it compared to, you know, like maybe the Patrick Ta lipstick? I know that's a matte, but what are you thinking about these? If you've tried it, let me know. All right, I saw this and I was like, really? Laura Mercier has their new Rose Glow liquid highlighters. And this is basically the Beauty Light Wand from Charlotte Tilbury in different packaging. And they're charging you $40 for this. It's exactly the same packaging. I cannot remember another brand before Charlotte came out with the contour and highlight wands that had that same packaging. And then after she came out with it, everybody started duping it. There's one from Tarte, there's one from Flower Beauty, there's one from e.l.f. Like everybody has this packaging now. And I feel part of me is just like, let the people who pioneered it and came out with it do it. Let it be their thing. And I know why they're doing it, but also why would you buy one from Laura Mercier at $40 when you could buy the Charlotte Tilbury one at $42? Like it makes sense if you don't want to spend that price and you want to get the e.l.f. one or even the Flower Beauty one. And I know formulas are going to be different and shades are going to be different, but if you're wanting like a glowy product in a tube, why this one? Why for $40? I don't know. I think you'd have to be like a devoted Laura Mercier brand fan to be interested in this, but I myself, I just don't get it. That was like a, who asked for this? And then the other part of me was like, who on the marketing team thought that at that price point, it's going to pull people in? Because the Tarte one that's in the $30 range, I'm still like, who's buying it? All right, so here's something that really kind of intrigued me. I know they've been out for a minute. People seem to be liking them, but the Rare Beauty Brow Harmony Precision Pencil, they're all of the above weightless eyeshadow sticks. That looks really intriguing to me. And they have a waterproof gel pencil. So first of all, I remember trying one of their brow products that did a full face of Rare Beauty, and I got their double-ended product, which they have discontinued, which I'm so grateful for because it was terrible. It was terrible. I love so many things from Rare. That was horrible. So this pencil for brows, their Brow Harmony Precision Pencil, looks good. It has a fine angle tip to create precise hair-like strokes. It comes in 6 shades. They're all the above. Weightless eyeshadow stick is $22. This looks really interesting. It's supposed to be creamy, easy to blend out. It has a built-in sharpener. I love all of that. It comes in 6 shades, a soft pink, a champagne, a rosy taupe, a copper, a burgundy, and a bronze. That looks great. And then this waterproof gel eyeliner that stays put in the waterline. It has a built-in sharpener. Oh, hello, you're saying all the words. I'm really excited about that. I don't know, these would be interesting. I would be willing to purchase at least one of each of these to try the new brow pencil, to try the new eyeshadow stick, to try the new eyeliner. I think these look really cool. I'm trying to tell myself right now that I don't need any of these, but don't be surprised if you see them showing up. There is a new foundation from Smashbox. This is their Always On Skin Balancing Foundation with hyaluronic acid and adaptogens. I'm not sure what it means when they say adaptogens, but let me just read you what it says it does. And this had me going, what? Long-wearing foundation that balances oil control and hydration. And it's buildable coverage, visibly even, a natural look, 16-hour wear, true color wear, meaning that it's supposed to not oxidize. It's supposed to have a natural finish, reducing the appearance of redness, blemishes, imperfections, primer infused, water, sweat, humidity, crease, settle, and transfer resistant. It's like it says it's doing all the things. Now, for me, the things that I worry about is the older I get, the more I have product that settles like into my lines here, or like into this line here, or into this line here, and sometimes into this line here. So if you don't crease or settle, that's worth a lot to me. The other thing is I like a medium foundation. I know they had one that was in this same range, but it came in a squeezy tube several years back and everybody loved it who loved full coverage. It was too full coverage for me. I got a sample of it and yeah, it was nice, but that's not the sort of makeup that I wear. I want a medium coverage foundation. So the fact that this is that, and it also says that it's supposed to be like a natural finish. What does that mean? That we're not glowy and we're not matte, we're kind of in the middle? Okay, great. But I feel like this is really intriguing to me. 29 shades, $46. Part of me is like, I wonder if they have this at my local Ulta. Like this is the sort of product I would want to go and get in the car for. But I'm worried that with only having 29 shades, they may not have a shade for me, a shade that's light enough. The 3 lightest shades, they have a warm, a cool, and a neutral, and I would be the F10 neutral, if anything, because the cool one is a little too pink, and the warm one is a little too yellow. But I would have to see. I don't know. I'd be curious to see if they have this. This is one that I'm like, do I need this? I can't remember the last time I was excited by anything from KVD, but they have a new tubing mascara. This is called their full sleeve tubing mascara. It's $25. That's how much this is. That's how much some of my other favorites like the Cali Ray one and the Tartelette tubing mascara, they're in the $20 range. I would really be curious if nothing else, at least to try this. If you have tried it, what are your thoughts? But it's $25. It's lengthening and defining 24-hour tat tubing technology. All right. And it's supposed to wrap every lash like a full sleeve tattoo for flake-free, clump-proof, smudge-resistant wear. Okay, so it does everything that a tubing mascara does. You know, it stays in place, doesn't smudge, doesn't flake, comes off with warm water easily. I don't know, it looks interesting. And for me, it's not so much that it's KVD, but it's like, ooh, tubing mascara. I feel like we're definitely in an era of everybody wanting to put out a tubing mascara, and this one has my attention. Last thing for today, Chantecaille already has their Mustang collection out and available for purchase. I have purchased very little from Chantecaille. A lot of it is because it's the price point. It's very expensive and there is no place for me to go and like swirl my finger in a product or try something out or test a color before I purchase. And at these luxury prices, I would love to be able to do that before committing. This makeup is really giving me basic vibes, but I mean, come on, look, I've got a neutral lip, I've got a neutral eye. I am your basic person right here. I love this. Okay, so they have 4 new eyeshadows. 2 are matte, 2 are luminescent is what they're calling it. And they're $56 a piece. Now I've heard some people talk about previous like releases. Was it the rhino or the elephant or the whatever? And that they're just like faves. And I feel like if there was one single shadow that was like one shadow to rule them all, yes, but I don't know if this is that. But these are really interesting. But the one in the bottom corner, like the taupey one, that looks good. And both of these lipsticks look beautiful. They look really, really pretty. And their lip veils are $52. I've had one lip veil in the past. No, I had a Lip Chic. Didn't love it. It was the shade. It wasn't the product, it was the shade. But I haven't tried any other lip products from Chantecaille. But these look amazing. I don't think I'm gonna rush out and buy them. They're calling my name. Buy me, buy me. All right, thank you so much for watching today. Let me know what sort of products are grabbing you by the lapels, buy me, or pay attention to me, or which ones are you kind of like, who asked for this? I feel like there's a lot of that right now. There's a lot of, for me, noise out there, a lot of things that I'm not that interested in. And then there are some things that really do have my attention, but it's really easy for me to say that none of this is like an instant purchase. The only thing that really has me kind of like, is that Smashbox foundation. And I need more foundation, like I need a hole in my head. And the one from Glossier. Because I love the stretch concealer so much, I would love to try that new formula foundation. But other than that, I don't know, maybe some rare beauty stuff, but none of it is like, buy me now. It's like I have to get in my car and go somewhere and get it. I feel like a lot of this I can talk myself down off the ledge, but let me know what has your attention. Have you purchased anything recently? Is any of it good? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you again soon.